Can you imagine just being at the grocery store and someone's like, leave your husband? I'm just trying to buy a cantaloupe. Relax. Some people like to be outraged because it makes them feel like they're doing something. Well, when he was out of town, he would beg me to feed the ravens. And I'm like, nothing would have made him happier than the idea of me being shirtless with the blobs of meat. Say yes to everything that comes your way, because you don't know if that person is going to be the person that changes you.
In business and in life, your greatest growth often happens when things don't go according to plan, when the script changes, when you face the unexpected, the uncomfortable, or the unpredictable. Your ability to stay real, flexible, and creative determines everything. That's what separates those who merely survive from those who truly succeed. Our next guest has lived her entire life unscripted and turned the chaos into a career, a purpose, and a message. Do you remember what happened last year around this time? Okay? Most people were super excited. Now, unfortunately, the government shut down, couldn't get Bobby Kennedy, and I was like, that sucks. So I was sitting there thinking, okay, who is better than Bobby Kennedy? That's a tough one because he's an amazing guy. I think we have someone better than Bobby Kennedy, like way better. Okay, so let's see. And I hope Bobby's not mad that I would say that. Okay, all right, here we go. Cheryl Hines is best known as the Emmy-nominated star of the long-running hit series Curb Your Enthusiasm. She built her career by trusting her instincts, adapting on the fly, and finding humor in the unknown. Cheryl's also an author. Her memoir, Unscripted, which comes out next week. You're going to be the first audience that gets a copy of the book before it's even released. Today, as the wife of Robert Kennedy Jr. and a national voice for health, wellness, and authenticity, she continues to live that message, helping others navigate a world that's increasingly unpredictable. Please help me welcome Cheryl Hines.
Hi. That was very nice.
Thank you.
I can't wait to tell Bobby.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hi, everybody.
Well, here we are.
I just want to take everybody in for a second. This is so cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I got a whole slew of questions for you, and we may, depending on time, take some from the audience. So,
Okay.
Your new book, I got it right here. I didn't show anyone the cover yet, and you're all getting a copy of it. It's unscripted, okay? Yeah, so you all get a copy of that. There's also a little QR code, so after you get the book, I want you to also download the audio. The audio won't be available for a few days because it comes out next week, but download the audio, and then if you like the book, give it a good review because the book's just coming out, and that'll be really helpful for her. 5-star if you like it, 5-star. So
Thank you. It's going to be 5-star no matter what. But I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. There's something for everyone in there.
yeah, there
It
is.
covers a lot of territory.
Yeah, it does. And
It's a little spicy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what'd you learn in writing the book? What'd you learn about yourself?
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, you already know this in life, right? That one thing leads to another to another. But when I sat down and I was writing my life story, you know, I got Curb Your Enthusiasm, I got that audition, I booked the part, it became a series. Through Larry David, I met Bobby Kennedy. Through Bobby Kennedy, now I have 7 kids, and it's all of these little moments that, when you're living, you're not thinking, this moment is gonna change my life. Yeah. But those little moments change your life. And then when you sit back and you look at it all, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing, right? And it's also a good lesson to say yes to everything that comes your way and to people that come your way. Because you don't know if that person is going to be the person that changes your life, that shapes you, that moment. And it might be a small, tiny moment.
Right.
That changes you or shapes you. So it was an interesting journey just watching those little moments and how they made everything happen.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to stay to the script, then I'm going to go off script on some of these. So, when did you realize that playing it safe was more dangerous than failing publicly?
I learned very early because I didn't grow up with much. When I was young, I'm from Florida, and I was in the free lunch line at school. I bought my prom dress at Goodwill, so I didn't have material things. So it was good. It was a good lesson in life because I really felt like I had nothing to lose, so only things to gain. And even though we didn't have much as far as money went, we had a great family.
Yeah.
And so I knew the only way to really, make something happen in my life would be to take risks.
You were recently on The View. I watched that. I watched your interview with Tucker Carlson. And, I tried to think of, I want to ask Cheryl things that someone's not asked her before. And then I want people to really know who you are. And I want you to really read the book and get an understanding of Cheryl, because I have not just some plans with this. So you've been in rooms most people will never enter, from Hollywood sets to White House dinners. When you met Donald and Melania Trump, what struck you most personally about meeting them? And being in that situation, because
I met President Trump before I met Melania. And I do talk about it in my book. At the time, it was a very stressful moment for me, because Bobby was running as an independent. He was running for president. President Trump had just had an assassination attempt on his life that Saturday, and then I met him that Monday morning. So he was meeting with Bobby because they wanted to see if they connected and if they had similar goals and if it seemed like they should work together or not. So it was a very interesting meeting. It was me and Bobby, President Trump, Susie Wiles, who was, she's the chief of staff, the first female chief of staff, but was running his campaign at the time, and very impressive person, and Amaryllis Fox, who's my daughter-in-law, who was running Bobby's campaign. So I did a lot of listening, but I found him to be very smart, personable, and at the same time, happy to talk about, let the conversation go to, we talked about the mamba snake and how long you have to live after you've been bitten by one. So it was a wild, interesting conversation.
So then what started happening with your relationship? Because as soon as Bobby started running, that's, I'm sure, the last 5 years have had to have been the craziest shit ever for you, right?
Pretty crazy shit.
Yeah, so so how did you psychologically process what was actually going on in your personal life with Bobby, and then the political stuff, then the alignment with Trump, and then the reaction and responses from other people, much of which I can't even imagine had to be surprising, shocking, and just weird?
Yes. Yes to everything you just said. Well, I think we all feel times in our lives when something's happening and it's coming at you so quickly that you feel like, I need a little more time. I need a little more time. When you lose somebody, when you get news that's completely changes your life, which we all get. And I talk about in my story, and there are times in my life when I felt like I need a little time. And oddly, the universe does not give it to you.
Right.
So the election was quite a learning process, right? Because there's an out date. All of this stuff has to happen before November 5th. There's just such a circus. There's such a circus of people, of stories, newscasters, journalists, people that are programming the online bots. You start to learn about buzzwords that they plant, that if somebody says this in their article, it's going to trigger this kind of response, and it's all happening so fast.
I mean, I'm just on the periphery of this stuff. I never liked politics. I didn't want to get involved in it, and it became a point where I'm like, well, there are certain things happening in the world that if I don't say something about it, I just don't internally feel right. And it's so much show business, and people that have all these opinions, for one, they're not part of the solution. They're just part of the problem. They're a bunch of barking dogs that just want to oftentimes complain about stuff. And like you've said, there are people that have really difficult jobs, and they work really hard, and a lot of them are doing really good things. And yeah, there's snakes, and there's all kinds of people that are posturing and positioning and have their agenda and all that. I mean, it's a mixed bag, like it is in almost every industry. But a lot of the people that just come at you like that, they have no context of anything, and it's like, try to trade places for 10 minutes and see how you handle this stuff.
Right. That you're exactly right. So you have people who, it's like, what are they called? Armchair quarterbacks?
Yes, yeah. Armchair quarterback.
The guy that's sitting there watching the Super Bowl, it's like, I would have thrown the long pass. That guy would have caught it. We would have won the Super Bowl. And it's like, you haven't gotten up out of your seat for 3 hours. Like, you have the same people in politics saying that.
Right.
Somebody who...
And the media supports it all. Not all of it, but a lot.
Right. It's a circus. So yeah, you have to always consider the source. You're right. Some people like to be outraged because it makes them feel like they're doing something. Mm-hmm. So even someone coming up to me telling me to tell my husband to drop out of the race, I don't know, maybe they went home that day and said, I accomplished something today. I let her have it, so she can let him have it, and he's going to drop out. It's like, I don't think they ever thought that he would drop out because you told me to tell him to drop out. But somehow it makes somebody feel better to be outraged and to let you know that they disapprove of something.
Right. Well, it makes me think both you and Bobby have incredible perseverance in order to take on that sort of job. But even your life, which you describe in here, is tons of perseverance. I mean, where did that come from? Was it your parents? Did you just develop it? Was it desperation of being broke? Was it just, because you didn't really give up. I mean, you just kept at it. And
Yeah.
you finally developed great success.
Well, I was fortunately, I knew early on that I wanted to be an actor. That's all I ever wanted.
Were you like 5 years older when it did first come to you?
Yeah, I was probably like 8,
Okay.
and I don't know why, I don't know how. My dad used to always say, I don't know why you thought you could do this, but you sure did it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, thanks, Dad. But, it's sort of like, we never told you should be an actor. So I was born with that desire. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, I just, that's all I wanted to do. So at one point, I thought it's going to be okay if I die alone in my 1-bedroom rent-controlled apartment, like trying out for the community theater, because I'm an actress and that's all I've wanted to do. So I was always very focused with that, and then always surrounded myself with people that I really love. Mm-hmm. and found happiness in the people that I love.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, it's easier to say this than to actually do it, because there were definitely times when I didn't do this, but would have to remind myself to find happiness where I am. I couldn't wait to be happy until I got that show. Because what if I never got the show? I really wanted to be able to pay my bills by being an actor. I thought that would bring me happiness, which it did, actually. But while I was a bartender, I was still happy. I had friends and I had crazy adventures as a bartender in downtown LA. And was able to look, when the moments are happening, when the good moments are happening or crazy moments are happening, to be able to take it in and say, ooh, I have to remember this, because this is good. This is making my life good.
There are people that constantly are looking for the next idea, and you can hear them and just act on it. But some people, they're in the idea consumption thing, not the let's take action and just go open the door where someone pointed, here's a door that could lead you to where you want to go, and they don't do it.
No, you're right. It's like, okay, that's good, but what else? It's like, oh, I just gave you my best. I just gave you my best idea. Why don't you try that one first? No, but that's probably not going to work or whatever. But yeah, you're right. It's like, listen to that one and explore it and see.
So that leads to just a question of how did you learn to dance with rejection? Because improv is literally putting yourself out there every time to see what happens. I mean, that builds resilience. That as Chris Voss says, you got to do the reps. If you want to be good at negotiation, you got to do the reps. So you're doing reps every day, and every successful person here in the room, where they have success, they're doing the reps, and you put yourself in a position to do that, and that's kind of. So I wanted to. How did you do that? And then I want to ask, how do you use it today? Because now you're thrust in a whole nother sort of form of improv.
Right. Well, so in improv, there's no script. Curb Your Enthusiasm was improvised. The dialogue on the show was improvised. So when you're doing improv and you're two actors are on a stage, and you get a suggestion from the audience, where are these people at the car wash? Lights go down, lights go up, and now we're doing a scene about the car wash. You don't have time to judge yourself. So you have to trust your instincts first and foremost. So when the lights come up, I have to make a decision. Hey, Dad, I just called you Dad. Now you're my dad in the scene, right? So I didn't have time to think about, this scene is not going to be good if he's my dad. Where do we go? But you have to trust your instincts and know that you are going to say something that's not funny, that's not interesting, and you'll have a moment after that that will be good, that will be funny, that will be interesting. So in an improv, you cannot keep, you don't have time to process, ooh, that wasn't good. Oh, that was actually good. Oh, that's not good. You don't have time. You only have time to connect with the person that you're improvising with. And this is true in life, right? Mm-hmm. If you're talking to someone, you have a meeting with someone, you only have that moment with them. Mm-hmm. And so that's the most important moment that's happening. Yeah. So you look at them, you listen to them, and you don't judge it. You just take it and let it guide you.
It wasn't until a few months ago when we were in the White House and I went up and started talking with you, and we had a conversation before they had to, start that was the Maha report meeting. And I walked away going, wow, you are a genuinely really lovely person. And everyone always says that about you that I've spoken with it, but I never really, had a chance to.
Tell me more.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm going to talk about what people don't like about you. No, I'm kidding. No. So,
here's a chart. Yeah. We're going to go through it.
Well, it's funny. So because you really people, you leave a really good impression. So my question is, like, how do you do that? How would you recommend that people approach someone to be likable, because you have a reputation for that? People, you're not one of these actors or actresses that people are like, oh yeah, they kind of diss me. And I can't even imagine how difficult it is when people are constantly coming up. And, I mean, you're having to navigate all kinds of things from people that may have watched you for years. I mean, Curb Your Enthusiasm was on for 24 years, right? So there's people that you're going to see for 2 seconds that have watched hours of you, right? So how do you create that impression? And could you share in a way that would help everyone here to just help become more connected with others?
I think it's being genuine. And once again, that sounds sort of, who cares?
Cliche,
Like, you can say that all day. But it's if you take away like the first few layers, right? So if I'm just meeting you, the first few layers would be, hey, how's it going? What's going on? You're having a good time tonight? Like, nobody gives a shit. But if I'm meeting you and I'm taking you in for a second, and I only have 30 seconds to talk to you, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you have the best socks in the room.
I'm glad you like the what's in it for them. Yeah.
So what are your socks about? I like to find just something in the other person that speaks to me.
I was talking with this author years ago, Poe Bronson, in a bookstore. And our conversation was about what do people want. And he said, people want more woo and less ah. And I was like, that's interesting, because we all want more woo and less ah.
What does that mean?
Well, excitement or joy or sunshine or smiles or less pain. I look at it as more, oftentimes people get their woo through violence, through dopamine pursuits. Like a hit.
Charge.
If you're gonna watch porn, if you're gonna drink alcohol, if you're gonna smoke, whatever, negative or positive, people are looking for certain things. So if you're getting all your woo through violence or through the consumption of things that sort of hijack the brain. I mean, I remember when 9/11 happened, shortly there, I think everyone that remembers that moment, and a couple weeks after that, I heard someone say, they didn't just hijack airplanes, they hijacked American media. And I was like, that's a very interesting statement. Never realizing what we've just been through with the pandemic and all the propaganda and everything to this day, how much the brains of people have been hijacked. And so pursuing healthy woo versus negative is important. And when you leave a good impression on someone, because a lot of people just have so much pain in their life, and if you could just add a little smile. I often try to do it with crude jokes or slightly inappropriate or very inappropriate things. And Dabs once, she said, you know what you do, Joe? You charm and disarm people. And I was like, I try to charm and disarm people. I'm not always the best at it. Sometimes I do a lousy job. But if I could just, when people put more woo in my life than ah, I tend to gravitate towards those people. I like, I write about in my book where look at the next 5 to 10 either text messages, phone calls, DM, however people are communicating with you. And do you feel woo when you see their name, or do you feel ah?
Yeah.
And then I'll warn people, like, if you owe them money, that doesn't mean they're the asshole. That means you probably need to pay them back the money. But there are times where it's like, who in your life excites you, and who wards you off? And I'll tell you that's energy, and I think that is sort of a bit of your formula, is you exude a certain level of energy. If it's fake, you can get, flattery works, but it's superficial. If you have consistency with it, though, it's pretty powerful to learn how to harness that energy, and you wouldn't have built your. It's kind of fun. I'm not going to give away the story, but it has to do with a skit about drinking your own urine, and you can read the book if you're curious about that. Seriously,
They're not.
It's funny. So, but the thing is that you've learned how to kind of manage the energy, and I think your happiness and your joy has everything to do with how you internalize it and how what you give out to people and what you allow to take in. So
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And it's funny you're talking about owing people money, because even that, my friend and I have a pact with each other. If we ever owe each other money, because it's the worst to have to ask somebody to pay you back.
Yeah.
But then that person might have forgotten. So we have, when one of us owes the other money, let's say you borrowed money from me and you forgot to pay me back, I might, out of the blue, say, hey, did you hook up with Jennifer Lopez? And you'd be like, oh my God, I owe you $50, sorry. So you never know who the person's gonna be. It's like, how are things going with you and George Clooney? And it's like, yeah, I'm Venmoing you right now. So it's once again, if you're looking at your phone, even if your friend is saying, hey, can you pay me back the money you borrowed, it's a fun way, because it's like, I don't know who they're going to say. I mean, did you ever sleep with Phyllis Diller? Oh, yeah, I owe you $1,000. Okay.
that's awesome.
But it's the way you approach everything, right?
Yeah. Oh, and also, when I look at, and I do a gut check, like, why does this person give me versus woo?
Yeah.
And the people in the what I refer to it as is be the type of person you would always answer the phone for.
Yeah.
And so there are certain people I would always want to answer the phone for because they represent value, or they're a giver, or they're funny, or whatever they do in my life that makes me want to answer the phone for, where those are traits that I can either model or learn or figure out why. Then I can make the decision, I call it ELF, who in my life is easy, lucrative, and fun, versus half, hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating.
It's like what my mom says.
I'm going to send you some elves for Christmas.
Please. My mom always says, I'm just going to pipe it. Do you know what pipe means? Play it by ear. But if you don't know that, and she just says, I'm going to pipe it, it's really hard to know what she's talking about. And people will say, I don't know what that means. It's like, I'm just going to pipe it, don't worry. Yeah. But it's just now I'm going to say, you're my elf.
I love it. Yeah, well, anything to help perpetuate that would make my low self-esteem get a little bit higher. So let me ask you this. So being married to Bobby Kennedy Jr. put you in a different kind of spotlight. Mm-hmm. What has it taught you about strength, loyalty, or grace? Because now when you have tens of thousands of people giving their opinions of your husband that you're married to, when you probably first got married, did not think that would ever happen. What has that done for your strength, loyalty, and grace?
That's a very good question. Because you're right, when we got married over 10 years ago, it was not a big deal. Mm-hmm. I didn't have people coming up to me telling me to leave my husband, and now I do, which is odd. Can you imagine just being at the grocery store and someone's like, leave your husband? You're talking to me? I'm just trying to buy a cantaloupe. Relax. But it...
That's a great line for everything. I'm just trying to buy a cantaloupe, relax.
We're going to have so many T-shirts for you to buy at the end of this. Strength, yes. I have had to... I've had to have strength in places in my life where I never thought I would have to. I understand having to find strength when you lose someone close to you dies. When you're having a financial struggle, I understand that kind of strength and having to dig dig deep within yourself to get through it. But to have to find a strength to block out other people was new for me, because I had been on Curb, I'd been in comedy, and that wasn't really part of my life, having to block people out.
Right.
And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be in that position, but I learned that, yes, there's a strength that comes that you have to have in, like you're saying, today with the media, with social media, with people can post whatever they want, whenever they want. And it doesn't have to be true. That's also odd, but it's the truth. So I had to find a different strength to be able to do that, to be able to shut down the noise of the people that don't matter.
Yeah.
And at the same time, keep the people that do matter close.
Right. Do you find yourself more encouraged or discouraged where things are at right now, from your perception of the worldview? Like, are you more encouraged, or are you kind of like, is there a sense of sadness and discouragement with what you have seen?
You mean with life in general?
Yeah, like your perspective. Has this made your life more difficult, or have you found a deeper sense of conviction to happiness and source, or whatever you connect with?
You know, I find happiness in learning something new. Yeah. And I didn't know this was going to be my experience, right? Because when Bobby said he was running for president, I was not like, yahoo! Can't wait for that. I knew that my life was going to change. Our lives would change. I knew that they were going to change, but I couldn't imagine how. But at that time in my life, I felt like I don't really want my life to change. Like, my life is good. Let's cap it. Let's cap it at this. But that was not the case, right? And then in the last few years, I've just learned. I've really learned a lot about running for president. If anybody wants to hire me in their campaign next cycle, I've learned about politics. Mm-hmm. I've learned about people. Mm-hmm. I've learned about what true friends mean, and what like second-tier friends look like. And now being in DC, and like you're saying, going to the White House, I will be, sitting at a conference table with people I could never have imagined that I would be sitting with, talking about things I would have never imagined I'd be talking about, but world-changing issues. And I'm around people that are, they are making decisions that affect a lot of people's lives every day. And you can feel that energy, just like I'm sure you could when you were there. Yep. So to be having dinner with Marco Rubio and, meeting these people that I never would have met under any other circumstances, I would have never met them. It's pretty amazing. And there's a joy in it for me because I'm doing it with Bobby.
Right.
So, Bobby and I, we have a lot of fun together. And even when we're in serious situations, we can give each other the eye like, this is crazy. Yeah, this is crazy. And we're on the same page, and we can enjoy that moment. And we were talking about Bobby a few minutes ago because you said he's pretty serious, which he is, but there's another side to him that actually you'll read about in the book. But he's funny. The other day, he had just left for work. I was trying to find my phone. I couldn't find my phone, and I had somebody else call it, and he answered my phone, and I said, "Bobby, you have my phone." And he said, "What makes you say that?" I said, "Oh my God, okay, you've got to bring my phone back." But he's funny, and he's fast, and he's funny, and I love every minute with him.
It's awesome. No, who's funnier, him or Larry David?
Him or Larry David. These two are very different.
Yeah. Is Bobby got any neurotic behaviors like Larry does?
I wouldn't say neurotic, but odd behaviors, yes. Which I also talk about in the book because, for instance, our house in LA, Bobby loves animals. He trained these wild ravens to come, and he'll hold out food, and they'll come and eat out of his hand. But he sits very still and quiet, and this took months and months. And for some reason, he's always shirtless when he does it, and he calls them like, "Caw-caw! Caw-caw!" Well, I'm watching outside of the window of a shirtless Bobby sitting perfectly still with little blobs of meat lined up going, "Ah-ah! Ah-ah!" And I'm like, okay, that's...
I mean, you're pretty good at this too.
Well, when he was out of town, he would beg me to feed the ravens. And I'm like, I would get some old fruit in my ratty bathrobe, and I'd go out there. I could not bring myself to caw-caw. Caw-caw. But I would let them know I was there. And I'll walk around. You can see them in the trees, and I know they see me, and they see me put out the blueberries or strawberries or whatever I had. And then I'd sit in my bathrobe, very still until they came. And then I would take pictures of them to show Bobby, and he'd be like, "Thank you." But yeah, so would you say that's neurotic?
No, honestly, I think today, because of how life has become so disconnected with nature, many people would find that weird, but actually, I find Bobby to be an extremely connected person, and I think, and I'd love for you to tell me otherwise, and I've met quite a few politicians at this point, and he is the only one that I've met at that level that I don't think is at all narcissistic and sacrifices for what he believes in, and I think because of 42 years of recovery work. He's been going, you can't sit in that many 12-step meetings and help other people while you're wanting to help yourself with the condition of addiction and not have that hone you into a very caring person. And I think the fact that you're married to him and you guys that says everything about both of you. And most people won't do that work. And for someone to hear about it, you have no idea. But to go to, on this stage, he even said, I meditate every day, yeah. I work out every day, I go to a 12-step meeting every day. And he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
He's a very, and when he goes, he has to take security. And he has, it's not just that easy. He's globally recognizable, right? But to be able to have that commitment. So I don't think it's neurotic. I think to most people, it's hard for me to imagine doing that, but that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
And I think he's found nature in animals is what he's fought for his whole life, too.
Yes. You're right. He has a discipline about him that I don't have. I'm not going to the gym every day, but he does. He does have a routine, and that's what he does, and it's part of who he is, and it's part of doing the work as a person and showing up for other people.
I swear, if like 5% of the government around the world modeled the behavior he has, it'd be a completely different world. Completely.
Well, that's why I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of what he's accomplishing. And I'm glad he's doing it. There was a day when I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be glad you're doing this, but I am glad he's doing it because he's spent his career standing up to corporations, especially he was an environmental attorney, suing big corporations, Monsanto for Roundup because it was causing cancer in people, suing oil companies because there were harmful things in water supplies. So he has spent his life standing up to these big corporations, and now he's in politics, and that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
It's hard to stand up to big corporations in politics because I don't have to tell you, you know why. But to see him do it and to see this administration do it, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Really amazing to see.
No, totally,
proud of him.
totally. So here's this question: when you sit in silence, no cameras, no laughter, what does your inner voice sound like? Yeah, so comes the guy from Winter Haven, of course. Must be a Winter Haven thing.
What if it's your voice? Here, you say my thoughts for a second. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
what my inner voice sounds like. Oh my goodness. What do my inner? When you're talking about energy, I feel like I have. I don't know if this is going to be easy to follow, but I feel like I think more in energy than in actual words.
Right.
Right? So if I'm sitting here, I'm feeling an energy, like I can feel energy from different people in this room, and I want to take it in. More than, I'm sitting in a room full of people that are dressed nice, that are listening. It's more of I want to remember this energy or change the energy.
Yeah.
That's another thing too that people should be aware of that you can do, and people do it in an improv. The improv isn't going well. Two people sitting, talking about their relationship. If I got up and walked across the room, I just changed the energy of the scene, of what was going on here. Now something different is happening. And you can do that in real life. If you're talking to someone and it's not going well or there needs to be a change, you can get up. You can walk across. You can shake your hair out. You can, whatever that looks like. That would be great if you're just like doing comedy bits about your long hair. But yeah, I think more in energy.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, like I think almost all of life, I never would have thought this. If 10 years ago, what I'm about to say, I would have thought would be a silly thing to say. It's not time management, it's energy management. When things are working and feeling good, you're connected with energy. And energy also means it's not just what you do and what you say and how you look, it's what's going on internally. So if you're sleep deprived, in 12 steps, they call it a halt state: hungry, angry, lonely, tired, where they say don't make decisions if you're in a halt state. If you're hungry, you're angry, you're lonely, you're tired, you're probably going to make some bad decisions, but that's managing energy. And so you have to, how do you best take care of yourself in ways that maybe you didn't in the past?
Well, I am more in touch with my anger, which actually is healthier than keeping something in. Well, I think for a long time in my life, and probably a lot of moms, probably dads too, but you know, I didn't really want my kids to see me angry. I didn't want them to see me sad. So sometimes I would, pencil it in when I have time. I'm going to sit down and be angry about this thing that just happened. It's not healthy. It's
Right.
that you never really. By the way, you're never You're never sitting down so you can have some moments alone to be mad. So for me, it's been healthier for me to be able to say to somebody, what you're saying upsets me, and I'm really angry about it. I couldn't do that 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting about what you just said about anger, so I'll try to do this real quickly. There's a guy that I used to be in chronic physical pain almost my whole adult life, and according to scans, herniated discs in my neck, in my back, and I used to have chronic pain when I was a dead broke carpet cleaner. I used to do journaling every day, and I forgot about it. And I went back and I read these old journals, and I would always write, almost daily, how much my back hurt, how much my neck hurt, and I had no memory of that. And I'd gotten to this point where the pain was so severe, it was moving to different parts of my body and stuff. And I could not, for the life of me, figure it out. And I ended up tracking down this guy named Steve Ozanich, who wrote a book called The Great Pain Deception, based on the work of Dr. John Sarno, who I believe is probably the smartest pain doctor ever in the last 100 years. And Steve wrote this, took 10 years to write the most exhaustive research on the elimination of pain. And what he identified was John Sarno, and what Steve writes about in The Great Pain Deception is that the cause of most pain is not structural, it's psychological. Even though there are breaks, there are tears, there are injuries, but the majority of pain is repressed emotions that causes oxygen deprivation in the muscles, tendons, and ligaments, brought on by repressed emotions, predominantly anger and rage. And some of the people that experience the most physical pain are mothers, because they are now having to take care of kids, and they love their children, and they don't feel it on a conscious level, they repress it.
Yeah.
And when they repress it, they have a lot of physical pain, and that people that tend to have the most physical pain are actually nice people. Like narcissists and people that are assholes don't have as much.
Pain-free. They're walking around without a care in the world.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird.
I believe that actually makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so and literally I had a conversation with him in 2014, and this pain that was chronic, within 2 weeks it was 95% gone. And the only time it ever comes back is when I have something really stressful in my life. And so pain to me is a messenger. It's like, what do you do with the pain? How do you transmute it? How do you direct it? Now, the reason I bring this up is I think that is sort of a blueprint of what your book is about. So let me ask you this question. Where is it? You shared real loss and grief in your book. What did that teach you about love and what truly matters?
Well, I think anybody who's experienced loss, losing somebody really close to you in your life. I lost my brother. There are, you'll read about it, but there's such a sadness that comes with that loss, and it feels like you just lost love. And it's almost feels like a panic, because that's the love that I wanted. And then as time goes by, you understand that the love isn't lost, but it's just different. He's not here, but the love is still here. And you learn to carry it with you, carry the loss with you, carry the grief with you, because you don't get over it. But you look around and you see people and you know that they've lost someone in their lives, and they're still here. People have strength within them to figure out how to move forward. And that's been hard to do. It's hard to do in the moment,
Right.
And I've had moments where I felt like I'm not going to make it through this moment. Or I don't want to make it through this moment. So, yeah, I think it's giving yourself time to think about that person and the love that you have for that person and how you're going to honor them in your life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. So it's rare that I have an opportunity to have the author of a book that has not even come out yet, and you're the very first ones to get a copy of the book, and you're going to be sent off with a copy of the book, and to ask you, what do you hope that they get out of it? And if you were to give instructions on how to interact with your book Unscripted, as weird as that sounds.
It actually sounds dirty.
Yeah, it does.
Who's
Well, that's one
interacting with
option
this
too.
book?
That's one option too.
The picture section.
What do you hope that people get out of the book? You wrote it. What were the reasons behind it?
Well, number one, I think I want people to have fun reading it because there are some crazy stuff has happened in my life, which is fun to hear about, I think. And then, I was really compelled to write this because of the last few years in my life. I mean, even going from Winter Haven, Florida to Los Angeles to, walking the red carpet on the Emmys and this and that, it's like amazing. I'm up on stage at the Golden Globes. Who could, that alone is an interesting story. So then when you have, I was just talking to Dr. Drew, because he read the book and he said there are moments in my book where I say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this is happening. And he said, but the time you didn't say that is when you married a Kennedy. I said, well, that goes to show you that wasn't the craziest thing that happened in my life. But I think I quote Oscar Wilde because it's his quote on the very essence of romance is uncertainty. And it's about being in a good place when you're in that uncertainty. It's hard to do, but you're in a space where I don't know. I cannot tell you how this is going to end. I cannot tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. So, show business, there's a lot of that. That's what you sign up for. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but you can guess. It's probably going to shoot a show. Somebody's going to storm off the set because they're mad that they didn't get the lunch they wanted or whatever that looks like. And then, when Bobby said he was going to run for president, that was uncertainty in a, times a million. I didn't know anything about politics, really, other than turning on the news. So I didn't know how that election would end. I definitely could not have written the script that Bobby would be in President Trump's cabinet, or that, I'm hanging out talking to Melania on a Friday night. Like, I couldn't have written any of this.
Yeah, like that would have been the most astronomical bet ever in the world if you would have been asked a few years ago. Yeah.
But 3 years ago, where will you be? I'm going to be talking to Joe. I'm going to tell him this story. But yeah, so the idea of the book too is embrace uncertainty because it's going to be okay. And if you do it right, it might be great.
Awesome. Is there anything that I did not ask you or anything that you would like to share that we did not cover that you think would be important?
I feel like we covered a lot.
No, we did.
No, I think you did a really beautiful job interviewing me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And can we shoot a selfie? First off, did you guys enjoy Cheryl? Okay. So can we shoot a selfie video for Bobby? And I'm going to ask everyone what you thought of the interview with Cheryl. So let's do this.
It's really putting you guys on the spot.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, just fake it. It's just Bobby. I don't want him to.
You know what's great about Bobby is
disappointed in me.
if he mentions it's someone's birthday, Bobby, like, grab your phone and do a selfie.
Oh, I know.
He does that. He's great like that.
Oh, I know.
Like, he's always he's grabbed my phone several times to shoot a selfie.
He really likes people. It's very sweet. He connects with people.
Let's see if we can get both of us. Okay. Bobby, here with Cheryl,
Hi.
your wife.
Hi, honey.
And we're talking about her book, Unscripted, to the Genius Network member audience. And guys and gals, what did you think of Cheryl? Okay.
Aw, you guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, look at
That's
that.
so nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you, honey. Bye.
So good. So I am a bad person because I thought there would be time for questions, but there isn't. So I've got to, unfortunately, I can't.
You are a bad person. That's why we brought you here. This is an intervention.
It is. Literally, I was saying that with Jefferson and Chris earlier. Here's what I will say, though. Cheryl will be at the 100K dinner tonight. So those of you who meet her would snap some pictures, all that sort of stuff. You are a lovely human. Really appreciate you coming out here. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And read her book and review it. Cheryl Hines.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So awesome.
This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, I hope you found that video awesome and useful. So if you want to get a free copy of my book, I want you to click here. And if you want to watch some more videos that'll be useful and awesome, click here. Go ahead. They're over here. Do it now. Come on. Thank you. Watch them.